Hi, this is Mark from Tetrakey and welcome to Tetrakey TV. I hope you are well and having an awesome day. This is number 172 of 260 Facebook Lives that Rob and I are doing in 2017. Rob is currently delivering our first coaches program in the US. So that's very exciting. It's a good big chapter in the history of Tetrakey, delivering our stuff in North America now. So it's very, very cool, very exciting, and hopefully the start of something even bigger and better. And that ties me nicely into today's topic. And today's topic is what is your role? And it is I find it a very interesting question when I sit down with clients, with leaders, with business owners, and ask them to define and describe what they believe is their role in the business. And a lot of the times I will do that first for the business owner or the exec or the person I'm working with, and then I'll ask for 2 or 3 names that he works or she works reasonably closely with, or these people will know about this individual. And I ask them exactly the same question: what is this person's role in the business? And it is fascinating how many times we see different answers to those questions. The answer that the person in the roles, the business owner, the leader, the exec, believes is their roles, and the answer of those people in the business who are impacted and affected by that person. And I would say probably 50% of the time there's some commonality, but that leaves a massive gap in awareness and understanding of what the role. So a couple of things I want to talk about today. First is exactly that. Is there alignment between what you believe your role to be and what the people in your business believe your role to be? And if not, why not? What is causing that difference between those two parties? How did that happen in the first place, and what can you learn from that? And then what are you going to do to close the gap between the two? Either you need to do some re-education of the people in your business in terms of exactly what your role is, or you need to listen to what it is that they want and need from you and adapt and deliver that to them. So that's the first thing I'd really recommend is going through that kind of process to understand what your role is and do a sense check in your business in terms of what that is. But I'd like to unpack a little bit further about your definition of your role. And how that role ties into where you want the culture of the business to go, and B, how that aligns to your business life goals. Okay, so I think while we talk about life goals for people, I think businesses have life goals as well. They have goals in terms of where that business is going to naturally gravitate towards, and it could be influenced by you as a business owner, but also it could be influenced by the market or the environment that you're trading in. So it's really important that you understand what that breeds. So if you believe your role is a strategic leadership or direction, then you need to be congruent in terms of how that plays out in your business. If you believe that your job is to support the translation of the values into the practical parts of the business, then how are you doing it? How are you living and breathing that role in a daily basis? And are you conscious in terms of what you get involved in that business and what you don't? And the impact it has, not just on the short term, but on the longer term. On the longer term, in terms of the culture that it breeds, there's clients I've worked with where the leader is seen or believes their role is to be a fixer, and really pushes that message to the detriment of everybody else in that business. This individual, he answers the phone all the time. So if a person further down the food chain doesn't like the answer what the manager gives, they will phone up the leader of the business, and the leader of the business will get involved and make a decision or solve the problem. So what happens is the food chain just gets disrupted. The hierarchical levels of this business just break down, and there's stagnation, and also there's different messages at different times, which causes confusion in the business. We all know that confusion stops execution, stops implementation, and that confusion can lead to inconsistencies in the message. So one person gets one piece of treatment, another person gets another piece of treatment. And it's a big downfall of certain businesses. And that all comes from not being clear about what is your role. And again, while we're talking about leaders and business owners, it's really important that that happens throughout the organization. I talk time and time again about decision rights, about information flow. And that all comes through from defining roles. And again, I'm not saying rigidly define roles, but you've got to be clear in terms of what's your expectations, what's your benefit to the business, how are you contributing to the success of the organization. And it's the same in anything, in sport, in business. You have a role to play, and if you don't know what your role is, you cannot fulfill it to the best of your ability, not because of poor intentions, just because of a lack of clarity. So with that, I would like to wish you a phenomenal day. I'd like to think about your role in the business. I'd like you to think about how aligned your belief are of your role to the organisations. I'd like you to think about the impact that your role has on the culture going forward. And with that, I'd like to wish you a phenomenal day. So bye-bye.